Hello everyone, I am Be Better Gamer and welcome to my WWF No Mercy Let's Play episode. This is my WrestleMania 31 predictions and thoughts episode. Very excited about this one. Coming off the heels of my WWE 2015 Hall of Fame episode where I talked about the 2015 Hall of Fame class and also who in the WWF No Mercy roster I feel will one day make the Hall of Fame. That was a fun episode. It was severely lacking in the gameplay, but this one will be full of it because I will be playing as Roman Reigns. I made a Roman Reigns call way back for the Royal Rumble when I wanted to do like a Royal Rumble predictions episode where I pretty much, said either him or Daniel Bryan I saw as winning the Royal Rumble. It didn't go out as that didn't happen as greatly as I thought it would, but Roman Reigns did end up winning the Royal Rumble, and here we are, a few days from WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania week, so all my No Mercy videos that I released this week are going to be about WrestleMania, but this one specifically is going to be about the matches at WrestleMania 31. So what I think is going to go down, my predictions, my dream, my dream match endings, because we all know no matter how much we think a match is going to go down in WWE, it'll probably go the complete opposite direction. But actually, before I'm doing this episode, some big news came out. Brock Lesnar was on ESPN retiring from the MMA. Full on WWE now. He talked about a contract that they signed yesterday on Raw, so a lot of exciting things to talk about. Before I get into that, I want to thank you all for watching this video. I am Be Better Gamer, like I said at the beginning of the episode. If you like this video, check out my other WWF No Mercy Let's Play videos. I have a light heavyweight championship run all done up. I have a European championship run. I have some WCW NWO Revenge videos, some Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 videos. I'm pretty much focusing on the AKI developed wrestling games that were published by THQ on the N64. I have been thinking about dabbling in some of the newer 2K games, only because there's so many creative wrestler features that I really want to take advantage of. Don't get me wrong, I think the No Mercy game and all the other AKI developed wrestling games have the best engine, but you look at what can be done today in Create a Wrestler, I don't know, I'm on the fence about it. Who knows, maybe you'll see me put up some videos soon of some of the more modern games. But so let's talk about No Mercy. Let's talk about Roman Reigns. Let's talk about WrestleMania 31. I'm excited for WrestleMania 31. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a very good show. Looking forward to quite a bit of the matches, even if the hype for a lot of this hasn't been done as effectively as I would have liked. But whatever, I think a lot of the matches are going to deliver. There you go, I'm giving the big clothesline to Taka Michinoku. So I pretty much dominate this run as Roman Reigns. Again, this is Roman Reigns' call. If you didn't watch my Royal Rumble video, I guess I should put the link to the call. Call is short for created wrestler. I say call. That's just like a little term I use. I don't know if everyone else uses that. I know sometimes when you look up like calls, created wrestler guides and people. So I just always say call because created wrestler takes too long to say in conversation. But I'm doing a straight world heavyweight title run as a contender, and I actually did one before that I recorded, but I haven't actually put up as a contender as a champion, where I did a contender as Edge and I did a championship as Triple H. I did that really to unlock Shawn Michaels, but so I'm doing this as Roman Reigns, and actually if you follow the championship path, if you just follow the straight contender championship path, you pretty much take the journey of The Rock on his road to WrestleMania 2000, because No Mercy came out in November of 2000. So, WrestleMania 2000 came out, what was that, April of 2000. So it's really interesting that the game WrestleMania 2000 came out before WrestleMania 2000, but the actual storyline of that pay-per-view happens in this game. So I'm always nervous when I do the World Heavyweight Championship run you know, when you have to do the Royal Rumble and you have to win the Royal Rumble, because I'm playing on very hard, and you know, it's so long. It's such a long process for the Royal Rumble, so it's kind of tedious if you lose like halfway through or like, you know, 3/4 of the way through. But I do pretty good in this one. There's only one moment where I have a scare, so we'll see. I'll try to call it out when I see it. But I pretty much dominate this run as Roman Reigns. But it's still a pretty lengthy run. It's about an hour, so that gives me a lot of time to talk about WrestleMania. I'm choosing Roman Reigns because I think Roman Reigns is one of the biggest storylines going into WrestleMania 31. But you know, before we get to that, that's the main event, right? So let's save it a little bit. There's a lot more to get into about the Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and all that stuff first. So let's talk about maybe some of the other matches real quick. I want to talk about that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the match. I'm going to say who I want to see win, right? And then who I'll think will win, okay? Because, you know, you got to be, you know, I want to still be the fan, still be hopeful, but at the same time, just judging on, you know, how the angles or storylines are going, what I want to see may not be what happens. So I'm going to give myself some realistic choices as to who I think is going to win the matches, but I'm still going to enjoy it either way. But I figured I'd differentiate the two, you know, who I want to see win and who I think is going to win. You know, Taka Michinoku, I would love to see Taka Michinoku right now counter Roman Reigns and beat Roman Reigns, but I think Roman Reigns is going to knock Taka Michinoku out, which he does. Bam. And see, like right here, this is the best way to do the Royal Rumble, really quick. You know, I want to talk about some of the gameplay during this video as well, because I do a lot of cool things in this run that I feel like I should explain. So that's what you want to do. When you have the Royal Rumble, that 10 seconds, if you build enough momentum and enough rhythm going, you can have everyone out eliminated, so that as soon as the next person comes in, you can go ahead and eliminate them and then still have a few seconds to taunt, get your meter up, because especially if you're playing on the hard difficulty, you're going to want to keep building your meter up so that you have the advantage over the computer coming in, so he doesn't counter you right away. So you usually want to keep your meter in the orange or the red if you're doing this rhythm. I don't get to keep this rhythm going for as long as I want, but I do get to keep coming back to it throughout the match. So you'll see me doing that throughout the match. It helps making things go faster. But see, because like when you have more than 2 people in the ring, they'll start attacking you, and it's hard to get that rhythm going because you don't want to drag this match out. You're not trying to like make guys submit or pin them. You're just trying to get them out of the ring. So you want to get that momentum going, that rhythm going. You know, usually instead of going for specials, I'll just use my advantage of having a special meter to just eliminate the guy, because that's more quicker than just hitting, or more faster, I should say, more quicker, more faster than you know, sitting there hitting your special, waiting for the guy to get up and all that jazz. So yeah, that's a little pro tip for when you're doing the Royal Rumble. And that's another trick too. Usually when you go to eliminate a guy, some other guys here, like right there, Rikishi was looking at me when I was trying to eliminate Scotty 2 Hotty. So all I do is I just change my attention on Rikishi just to be prepared, so I might counter something, but then I just back up into Scotty 2 Hotty when I'm running, so that I can still get the knockout on him, and I don't, you know, let him get himself back in and keep the match going longer, because this is the longest part of the championship run. Going through the matches is kind of a breeze, even though it's on hard mode, because like I said in my other, you know, Let's Play videos, the AI, the difficulty in WWF No Mercy isn't that difficult, even though I am playing on the hard difficulty. But I've also played this game for over 15 years, so I don't know, maybe I'm biased to it, but that's just how I feel. Anyway, alright, let's talk about some matches. Alright, so the WrestleMania kickoff. The WrestleMania kickoff. It's a 4-way match between for the tag team championship. You have, you know, Los Matadors, the New Day, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, who are the champions, and the Usos. So I would like to see who I want to win is Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. They just became tag team champions. I thought by this time around The Ascension would have had a good push from their Royal Rumble victory. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Cesaro and Tyson Kidd kind of came out of nowhere as a tag team, but you know what? Let's keep the momentum going. Let's keep the titles on them, and I want to see what they can do as a tag team and how they can develop, because individually I love them. They're both really good wrestlers individually. I think they're both starting to come into their own. Tyson Kidd more so than Cesaro. I think Tyson Kidd has been developing a really good heel character in NXT. Cesaro is weird, man, because like Cesaro, I think the fans started appreciating him more just by going out there and strutting his stuff. But I don't know, I feel like they're trying to give him some sort of character as opposed to just letting him be. And I like him if he's just there. If Tyson Kidd was more the personality and the flavor of the tag team, and Cesaro was just a no nonsense, just getting the job done, I think that's just a great tag team. We need some credibility to the tag team division, and there's nothing wrong with just a solid tag team, especially if they're heels that just puts in good work, puts in good matches. But obviously that's not how the WWE works these days. So who I think is gonna win, I honestly think that Cesaro and Tyson Kidd aren't gonna win. I don't know if the Usos are gonna get the titles back. It would make sense because, Rikishi's getting inducted into Hall of Fame, so it could be kind of like a celebratory moment for them to go over as the champions, even though, again, it's not too big of a deal that they lost it a month or so ago and now they're getting it back, whatever. They are, probably the most popular tag team now. I just think it's a shame that the tag team championship match is being held at the kickoff show. I mean, any tag team match being held at the kickoff show. I know it's still at WrestleMania, but technically it's not on the card, and that's kind of lame. I really wish that the tag team division gets rebuilt. I want all the belts to get rebuilt, and that's something I'm going to talk about in my next episode about the future of the WWE. But let's move on before I start going on a rant about the tag team division. I'll have plenty of time to talk about the tag team division when I do my tag team championship series for No Mercy, which I'm really leaning towards doing that one next. A few people have been asking me what I'm going to do since I've wrapped up the European title run, and I honestly kind of want to do the tag team run, so I'll probably do that one next. It's either that or the hardcore championship. It's just the hardcore path is so complicated, it's going to take forever. But whatever. Okay, so that's what I think. I want Tyson Kidd and Cesaro to win, but I think they're going to lose, and I think the Usos are going to win. Alright, so next match. Now, we don't know the actual match lineup. At least I don't know it. I'm trying my best to avoid the spoilers and what matches will go first, this and that, who's gonna win what. So all these thoughts are from my own brain. I'm not reading spoilers. I'm trying my best to avoid the internet leading up to WrestleMania because I don't want anything spoiled for me. I try not to read spoilers for any pay-per-views, even the SmackDown spoilers. I don't try to read them. So as I'm recording this, SmackDown's being taped live and the spoilers are gonna be up. But I'm not going to read them. I'm going to wait till the SmackDown airs, find out what happens there. But I doubt anything, monumental will occur to affect my predictions episode. So, but let's start with, what's the one I want to talk about the least? Okay, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal was unexpectedly fun last year, and only because of how Cesaro won it. There wasn't really anything big about the Andre the Giant Memorial. I think we all kind of thought, at least I thought, that it was just going to be a one-off thing. And it's just, since it was the 30 years, let's do a celebration thing. It's Andre the Giant. All right, sure, let's do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And the way Cesaro lifted up the Big Show and dumped him over, what I really dug about that moment was that Cesaro had the Cesaro section. There was a whole group of people who bought tickets camera side close to the front, and they all had the Cesaro section, and they were all cheering for Cesaro. And I don't know if they knew he was going to win or they had a good feeling. I didn't even know he was going to be in the freaking match because he was in the kickoff show, him and Swagger. They were, that's interesting. I'm thinking about it now. Him and Swagger were in the kickoff show last year. Now he's in the kickoff show again. So Cesaro, the king of the kickoff shows. But that was a really cool moment, and then here we are 1 year later, and they're doing it again, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I guess this is going to become a thing now. There's nothing at stake. There's nothing at stake for winning the Andre the Giant battle royal. You know, Cesaro, nothing. He didn't really gain anything from it. I mean, he has that WrestleMania moment, but storyline wise, it didn't really propel him anywhere. So who I want to see the Battle Royal, I want to see Sandow win the Battle Royal, honestly. I want to see Sandow win the Battle Royal because I've always liked Sandow when he came on to the scene. I thought he was going to be a great heel when he first came on. You know, he was wearing the pink tights, but he had that, very educated heel mentality. He came out, he spoke very well. He quoted Shakespeare. But he had a good look to him, and he could wrestle. And when he won the Money in the Bank, I was like, oh wow, they're actually investing into Sandow. That's good. He's gonna be a good heel. But it never went anywhere. And then he started doing the weird gimmicks where he would dress up as all these weird characters. But he made that work. He got himself over, and him partnering with The Miz has been the best thing to happen to him. And it's highlighting some of the best work The Miz has been doing in a very long time. We all know they're splitting up, and I think the Battle Royal is where it happens, but I think he should cause The Miz to lose the match. I think I think that would be the ultimate ending to the storyline, because not only is it, opening up a new chapter in that feud between The Miz and Sandow, but it's creating a nice button for it, and it's the most popular storyline going into the Battle Royal that I think it just makes the most sense that it becomes the focal point of that match almost. Who I think will win it? Probably Ryback, because I think Ryback is due for a big push, and I don't know, I just feel like they want to make whoever wins this Battle Royal the biggest and strongest and baddest person, so maybe they'll do the whole thing where Sandow causes The Miz to get eliminated, but then The Miz causes Sandow to get eliminated, so they both lose, and Ryback just ends up winning it. I'm also interested to see what NXT guy gets chosen for the Battle Royal, because they made an announcement that they're going to do like a little mini tournament or a little mini Battle Royal in NXT over the weekend to see who gets into the Battle Royal there from NXT. That should be really interesting. My money is on Adrian Neville. I think Adrian Neville seems like it's about his time to be called up, only because he's no longer champion. Kevin Steen, aka Kevin Owens, is champion now. He's feuding with Sami Zayn, and Adrian Neville had that great match with Finn Balor to decide the number one contender, and Finn Balor's the number one contender now. So, and I think he's fighting Kevin Owens tomorrow. Oh yeah, I'm pumped about that. So yeah, I think Adrian Neville is going to be the NXT guy. It's a little double prediction there, but yeah, I would like to see if whoever wins the Battle Royal, I want to see it mean something for the next few months. You know what I mean? And I guess I'll talk about that in tomorrow's episode too, but that's what I think. I want to see Sandow win, and I think Ryback will win. Or Curtis Axel. Wouldn't that be ironic if Curtis Axel wins? I don't think so though. I think the joke will be that Curtis Axel gets eliminated, but he doesn't go over the top rope. I think something happens where he doesn't get eliminated from the Royal Rumble, from the Battle Royal. I think that would be funny. Next up, let's talk about the Divas. AJ Lee and Paige against the Bella Twins. # give Divas a chance. So I don't know what's going to open the show, but if they really wanted to give Divas a chance, I say they should make this the opener. Usually you start out with a really good match to open WrestleMania, right? Something to kick it off, get the crowd going. And I think AJ Lee and Paige, as well as the Bella Twins, have been working a really good story, albeit sometimes it's been kind of redundant, but everything in WWE is redundant, so whatever. It's not their fault that they're forced to fight each other every week, and they're the only women wrestlers on the roster that put on good matches. But I think either this or the Orton Seth Rollins match should be the opener. But if you really want to give them a chance, make this the opener. Don't make it a rubber match between one of the bigger matches. Give them a good 15 minutes. Let them go out there. Let them do their thing. I think they have the potential to put on a great tag team match if they have the time. You look at last year, like the Shield, they had that squash match in like 3 minutes, less than that. You got this year, you got the tag team championship being on the pre-show. So the likelihood of the women's tag match having more time than the tag team championship is unlikely, unfortunately. But I'm looking forward to this match. I think I would like to see AJ Lee and Paige win, only because that means one of them could go after the title against the Bella Twins. I think the Twins are gonna go over though. I think the Twins are gonna win. I think they're gonna beat AJ Lee and Paige, because it looks like they want to keep AJ Lee and Paige going towards the path of splitting up and not being, quote unquote frenemies, and just being enemies. And I also think that I'm also predicting that we might see the appearance either at WrestleMania or the next night of WrestleMania of someone from NXT, probably Charlotte, hopefully Charlotte. I think it's time. When they start bringing up. I think they should just move all the NXT women wrestlers that are hot right now. Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley. Just bring them up, and really catapult the women's division. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Charlotte maybe on Sunday or maybe the night after, somehow working into however this match ends. But yeah, I want to see AJ Lee and Paige win. But I think the Bellas will win. So what we got next? Am I still, I'm almost out of the Rumble. So got the Godfather. Get the Godfather out of here, man. Bam, Superman punch. That's my Superman punch for Roman Reigns. The running, jumping elbow. And that's another thing too. That's another reason why I kind of want to get the newer WWE games, because they got so many more moves now that I want to utilize. And I was looking at, there's a website that has a lot of, calls for a lot of the more modern guys, and I want to make them, but it's like I'm missing so many moves. Again, this game still holds up. It's still my favorite wrestling game. I'm not going to take that away from it, but doing the episode yesterday where I had to reorganize all the superstars, and there's only so many superstars left, and if I want to keep doing episodes where I'm talking about modern day wrestling, I feel like it would fit better with a game that supported modern wrestlers, if that makes any sense, and the moves that they do. But we'll see what happens. I mean, this Roman Reigns call does the job. You get it, right? You get that that's Roman Reigns, right? Kind of looks like him. You get the point. That was the beauty about these wrestling games, is that, it's on the N64, so it's not like the graphical prowess of it is like, oh my god, the graphics are so realistic. But you got the point. Like these characters all look like the wrestlers they're trying to be, and so even when you created wrestlers, they look like they still fit within the world of the game. This is really cool. So I was trying to get rid of X-Pac, and Kane got in the way. So I'm like, all right, Kane, you want it, so I'll take you out. So I managed to get Kane out of here, and I run him out of the ropes. Now I'm just with X-Pac, and I thought that spear was gonna take him out of the ring, but it didn't. So now I'm stuck with X-Pac, and I'm kind of nervous because it's like I don't really want to be eliminated by X-Pac. He's countering me. He did right there. He did a counter. He's blocking my clothesline. He's hitting me back. I'm getting nervous. I'm like, uh-oh, is X-Pac gonna eliminate me? Look, another counter right there. Like, this is not cool, man. This is not cool. So I kind of play it safe. I kind of just keep working X-Pac. I'm trying to, wear him down with the weak punches, maybe make him stumble back, wait for him to strike, because X-Pac strikes a lot. If you're fighting X-Pac, if you're a fan of this game, you probably know this. But when you fight X-Pac, he always goes for his striking moves, his strong striking. So it's actually really cool to play him if you have that knowledge, because it makes it easier to play against him. And look at The Rock. You want to be careful too. You don't want to get too close to the computers on the outside, because they might pull you out. And The Rock looks like he's looking at me. So I want to stay away from The Rock. And here we go, X-Pac trying to wear him down a little bit there. So this is really interesting. It gets really tense here because I don't want to lose to X-Pac. But, you know, spoiler, I do win. So, all right, so next match, I guess let's talk about Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. My other pick that will probably open the WrestleMania. Only because if it opens WrestleMania, then that means Rollins is going to cash in the Money in the Bank. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I would do if I was booking it. But I think this is going to be a good match. I think this is going to be one of the sleeper great matches of the show. I'm not a big fan of Randy Orton. Never was. But he does put on a good match if he's in the ring with someone who's really good or better than him. And I think Seth Rollins is that person. I think Seth Rollins is the better performer. And I think Seth Rollins is hungry to have the chance to showcase that he is a future main eventer, and he really is. Especially with that Money in the Bank. I mean, that's why he won it, right? He's gonna be a potentially cashing it in to win it. So let's hope that they give him a lot of faith in that, and that when he does have the title, it's a legitimate run. But I do think Seth Rollins is gonna and Randy Orton might open the show. It's gonna be cool. It's just a straight up singles match, and there's a lot of heat going into it. They took too long to build up this match with whole Randy Orton. Oh, he's back and he attacks the Authority, but now he's with them. But now he's not, and now the Authority doesn't want him there. It's like, shut up, just make him not with the Authority right away. It's simple. It's easy. He's not with the Authority anymore. He's going after Seth Rollins, and then you can have 3 weeks of him trying to chase Seth Rollins, around. Like, come on, easy, come on, just do that. Just why do you have to draw it out? But I think this is going to be a good match. I want to see Seth Rollins win. And I think Seth Rollins will win. I think Seth Rollins will beat Randy Orton. I don't think he'll beat him cleanly like any good heel does. And I wouldn't want to see him beat him cleanly because here's the thing about Randy Orton. I don't like Randy Orton, but Randy Orton never got his rematch for the world title. And I think there's still potential there for a good storyline for Randy Orton to go after the world title that he lost to Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match where he didn't tap out, and he's yet to get his rematch for the world title. So I think there's potential there if he loses to Seth Rollins, and he doesn't lose cleanly if Seth Rollins cheats to win, which he should because he's a heel. Then that sets up a potential feud down the line as a challenger. So you got two storylines working there. You got Randy Orton, who's been denied the chance to get his rematch. He'll go after Rollins, who'll probably be the champion at the time, seeking a title opportunity. Rollins will try to duck him, but he can't duck him this time now because Randy Orton's getting his rematch that he's owed. So stuff like that. So yeah, I think that'll be a good match. Let's see, what's next? Let's talk about, and we're already up into like the big matches. Oh, the IC Championship match. The IC Championship ladder match. I'm not a fan of what's been happening with the IC title. I don't like the whole hot potato gimmick. It feels like the hardcore title, the 24/7 title. And this is the IC title. I mean, Macho Man's getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. I talked about this in my Macho Man Let's Play when I did a WCW NW Revenge Let's Play with Macho Man. The IC title used to mean something. All these titles used to mean something. And to see it being used as this prop where people are stealing it from behind each other's backs and it's a joke and R-Truth is there, it's just not cool, man. I hope whoever wins this match holds on to the title for a long time and they make them a legitimate fighting champion. With that being said, I would like to see Dolph Ziggler win the match. I really would. I really would like to see Dolph Ziggler win the match. My second person would be probably Daniel Bryan. Because if he can't be the world champion, then might as well make him the IC champion, and then might as well make him just relive his Ring of Honor stint as Ring of Honor champion and just have him take on all contenders. But I think Ziggler should fit that role. I think we need to build Ziggler up as a dominant champion. When he first got the IC title, right away it was thrust into this whole back and forth. Wade Barrett came back. He was a transitional champ, this and that. It was lame. Put the belt on Ziggler, keep the belt on Ziggler, have him fight on it for a very long time. When the time you take it off is the time he's ready to fight for the world title. He's already a world champion. I mean, when he cashed it in on Alberto Del Rio, I was ready. People were ready for it. And then he got a concussion, and that set him back. So that's why I want to see Dolph Ziggler win, because I really want him to, establish a reputable run as the IC champion. Who I think is going to win? I think Daniel Bryan's going to win it. Daniel Bryan or Ambrose is probably going to win it. Only because it seems like they want to put the belt on Bryan so that he's not in the world title picture. But see, now that Brock Lesnar's here, and that's the thing. Before I was going to record this episode, I was writing down my notes and thinking about it. Like, yeah, they'll probably put it on Daniel Bryan because, he's not going to fight Brock Lesnar for the title, whatever. But now that Brock Lesnar is staying, now that match might actually happen one day. So maybe they won't put the title on Daniel Bryan, and maybe they'll have to put it on some other guy like Ambrose. I think Ambrose would make a good IC champion. But again, I want to see Ziggler win it. But they'll most likely put it on Bryan, which will be fine. And again, if they put it on Bryan, then okay, every pay-per-view is a big match. He takes on Ziggler one-on-one. He takes on Ambrose one-on-one. Barrett one-on-one. He could take on all these guys one-on-one and put on great matches with all these guys. And then they could have another, like IC ladder match at SummerSlam. Like, he could literally take on all these guys and do 4-week feuds with every single one of them and have great matches with every single one of them, because all these guys are good workers in the ring. And Daniel Bryan is just that kind of performer. He elevates everyone who he's in the ring with. Just look at that match with him and Roman Reigns. That was Daniel Bryanson, baby. It was Ring of Honor all over again. And that's the kind of performer he is. And I think that's why people are excited for the possibility of a Daniel Bryan-Brock Lesnar match. I know I am. So if they put the belt on Daniel Bryan, make him a fighting champion. Let's bring back the long historic runs, like the Macho Man run, like the Mr. Perfect run, Bret Hart. Let's bring the Workmen's Championship. I think they call it, like the workhorse of the federation. Hogan was the world champion, but the IC champion was the backbone of the company in a way, in terms of work rate and quality of matches. So if you put the belt on Daniel Bryan or Ziggler or Ambrose, those are the three guys that I think best embody that right now, in that lineup of WWE superstars. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good match. I'm not as excited for this match as I should be. Again, I think it's because of the IC title being bounced around like a hot potato. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't think the stakes are there. But at the same time, I know they're going to deliver a bunch of young guys hungry to make a splash, and they all have the energy and ability to put on a great match. So I think this might steal the show, or at least try to steal the show. A lot of these matches have the potential to steal the show. Randy Orton and Seth Rollins could potentially steal the show. Even the tag team Divas match, if they were given a good 15 minutes, they could leave an impression that people probably didn't think they were gonna do. But all these matches could steal the show. So let's talk about these main event matches. We got 4 pretty much main event matches, and it's hard to see like what match will follow what when you start talking about these matches. So I guess let's talk about Undertaker Bray Wyatt first. So Undertaker Bray Wyatt, we haven't seen Undertaker on WWE cameras since WrestleMania 30, when the streak was ended. I think we were all shocked. I was shocked. I didn't think Brock Lesnar was gonna beat him, but he did. And now look where he is. And I have mixed feelings about this match. Let's just start with who I think is gonna win. I think Taker's gonna win. That's who I want to see win, I should say. It's both. That's why I'm saying it like that. It's hard. I have mixed feelings about it, and even though I want to see Taker win, and I also think Taker's gonna win, I just hope that it continues to go somewhere. I think there's a lot of room for some sort of relationship to be established with Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker, and I don't want this to just be a one and done kind of deal. I think that's my reservation into it. Bray Wyatt's doing some really cool work on the mic, and the whole idea of him, taking the mantle of The Undertaker on his own is fascinating to me. And maybe throughout this match, Taker sees that, and even though Taker beats him, maybe Bray Wyatt comes so close to taking him down, but that Taker has some sort of respect for him, and maybe they form some sort of weird relationship, and that's how Bray Wyatt assumes the mantle of like the Undertaker, the new Undertaker. I mean, last night he was like controlling, the quote unquote thunder and lightning that Taker has always controlled, and I thought that was actually really cool. That was a really cool spin on it, because it's like him coming out and doing these promos doesn't mean anything, but he's like, now I'm the one summoning the thunder and the lightning. It's like, oh, now I get it. That's cool. That makes sense. You're gonna be the new Taker. You're gonna be when the lights go out. It's you. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna build that mystique, and he's definitely worthy of it, in my opinion. Obviously he has a long time to go, but I think in like another decade, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he establishes that legacy that The Undertaker has. So, but here's the thing. Here's what I really want to see happen, okay? He's been calling out The Undertaker all this time, right? He's been calling out the dead man. And my reservation about this match is, well, the last time we saw the dead man, he lost, okay? He lost to Brock Lesnar. So, Bray Wyatt is correct. Bray Wyatt is correct in saying that the dead man isn't real. This idea of this unbeatable demon-like character is fake. He's lying to us, and we're all stupid for believing his lies, and he's gonna expose the lies of The Undertaker. The Undertaker is nothing but a bunch of smoke and mirrors. There's no real magic there, right? That's his whole mantra. That's what he's been talking about, and I get it, and that's cool. So what if he's so right that when it comes time for the match, Bray Wyatt's in the ring, he comes out first, we're waiting for The Undertaker, maybe there's a little bit longer pause than usual, the lights go out, the gong goes up, the thunder, the lightning happens, and then all of a sudden we hear the roar of the motorcycle, and Undertaker comes out, and he's the American badass again. He's the badass Undertaker, and he comes out on that motorcycle. So it's like, you've been calling out the dead man, but you've been saying there is no dead man. Well, that's right. You're not getting the dead man. You're getting the badass. He comes out with the long trench coat and jeans and the MMA gloves and the bandana, and it just becomes a street fight. I would be so pumped about that, because it does two things. One, it makes you forget briefly that The Undertaker lost last year, okay? Without pretending that he's still this unstoppable dead man, right? Because we saw the dead man lose, but it's a new gimmick. It's a new gimmick that we're familiar with. We get it. It's kind of, and it gives us an opportunity. The second thing is, it gives us an opportunity to see Undertaker, quote unquote, go for one last ride before his eventual retirement, which I'm just assuming, this is just me, who knows how much longer he has, but I'm assuming The Undertaker is going to retire at WrestleMania 32. I'll probably get into that more of my next episode, but so that's what I would love to see. I would love to see if the whole time Bray Wyatt's been calling out the dead man and he gets the badass. And I think they would have a great match. Bray Wyatt can go. Bray Wyatt, oh man, I still love the Bray Wyatt Daniel Bryan match from Royal Rumble, but Bray Wyatt is one of those performers, which is why I think it's fitting that he's going after the Undertaker's spot, is because he's a guy that can wrestle so many different ways, so many different styles. He can be in hardcore matches, he can be in ladder matches, he can be in regular singles matches, he can be in cage matches, and he adapts his style to those matches, and I think him adapting to all of a sudden the badass Undertaker come out, I think that would be much more interesting than if the regular Undertaker came out and now they're just trying to out deadman each other. You know what I mean? Like that's just I don't know. You can only do that for so long before it starts exposing that, okay, we're watching two gimmicks go at each other as opposed to two wrestlers, perform against each other. And I think it would be much more thrilling if the badass came out unexpectedly, and it would make more sense that we haven't seen him all this time. Part of me thinks that the whole reason why we haven't seen the Undertaker on TV is because when he comes out, he's going to come out as the badass, right? Man, that would be so cool if that happened. I think it would be. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but I think it would be so cool if all of a sudden he came out on that motorcycle. Because that's the one big thing too. It's like, okay, well, is Bray Wyatt gonna be the 2 and 21 and 2? You know what I mean? Like, how do you put Bray Wyatt over in this match? It has to be his performance with the Undertaker. Okay, it has to mean something. You can't have him job out to the Taker's Deadman gimmick when we saw the Taker lose last year to Brock Lesnar. I mean, not saying that that's completely a bad thing and unrealistic. I mean, it did take so many guys until Brock Lesnar for Taker to lose at WrestleMania. So it only makes sense that, yeah, that's like Brock Lesnar is that special. But at the same time, I would say to give Bray Wyatt's character a little bit more color. Maybe he did expose the dead man for what he is, but now he's got to face the wrath of the badass, who is more akin to how Taker really is as a person, and that's a little bit more scary than the dead man. So yeah, I think that's gonna be a cool match. I'm looking forward to see how they do that match. But yeah, I think I want to see Taker win, and I think Taker will win. So let's move on. Let's talk about Rusev and John Cena. Rusev and John Cena. Cena, back where it all began, is what I wrote down, because about 10 years ago, Cena's first title was the U.S. Heavyweight title that he won from the Big Show at WrestleMania 20. And now he's fighting in a really big marquee U.S. Heavyweight title bout against Rusev, the dominant U.S. Heavyweight champion. I'm a big fan of Rusev. John Cena is John Cena. I want to see Rusev win, but I think John Cena will win. I think we all think John Cena's going to win. I think it's very likely John Cena's going to win. I think it would mean more to the U.S. Heavyweight title is if Rusev wins, honestly. And I think you can work a longer program with Rusev as the U.S. Heavyweight Champion. I think you can keep the momentum going if he beats Cena, because then they could have a big rematch at SummerSlam or something like that, where Rusev between that time was going after, well, now he beat Rusev, so who's next? Now he beat Cena, so who's next? Who else can he beat? You know what I mean? And put him in even bigger marquee matches and keep the momentum going for a potential future top heel in the company, because I think Rusev is definitely headed down that path. I like the kid a lot. He's really good in the ring. He's got a different look. I like his style. Very believable as a heel. And I think he's growing as a heel. So I want to see him win. I think Cena's going to win, though, because it's John Cena. I also think Cena's going to win because the quote-unquote heel, this kind of ties into Brock Lesnar's match. But I think the world title situation, the heel's going to exit as the champion. So you got to have some babyface win, right? But I think this match is going to be really good, though. I don't think Cena gets enough credit for putting on good matches in big moments. Yeah, he's no Daniel Bryan in the ring. Everyone he works with, it's a 5-star match or whatever, or even a 4-star match. But when it comes to those big moment matches, John Cena knows how to deliver. It's almost as if he saves it for those big moment matches, which could be completely true. The dude works so hard. He's done very well to keep himself healthy over the years, and he's performing at such a high level for his age, and he shows no signs of slowing down right now. So I don't think people give him enough credit. And that Fastlane match they had was really good, and the second best match in my opinion for the night. So I'm looking forward to this match. I think this match has a lot of potential. It's going to be very interesting to see how they tell the story in the ring. I think I'm most excited about the performance of this match because the Fastlane match, they told such a great story, and I want to see them take it further. Even if John Cena wins, I want to see how they pull that off. I want to see how John Cena becomes the first man to beat Rusev for in a straight up one-on-one match. Rusev hasn't lost in a straight one-on-one match since his debut. He's lost in other situations. He's been DQ'd, but straight one-on-one, you got the U.S. Heavyweight title on the line. And, but I think either way, I think it'd be good for the U.S. Heavyweight title. Unlike the IC title, the U.S. Heavyweight title has been doing really well so far. In terms of having some sort of legitimacy added to it ever since Rusev got the title. And I think this just helps elevate it, this feud between Rusev and Cena. If Cena gets it, that automatically, you're not going to put, Heath Slater against Cena for a U.S. Heavyweight title feud. You're automatically putting in bigger marquee guys to go up against Cena for the U.S. Heavyweight title. On the other hand, if Rusev wins, you got Rusev who beat John Cena for the U.S. Heavyweight title. That elevates him as a champion and makes him more of an intimidating opponent for anyone trying to go after that title. So I'm really excited about that match. I think it's going to be a good match. I don't know where they're going to place this match on the card, with the Undertaker match, with the Sting Triple H match, with the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match. When do they fit in Rusev and John Cena? It's going to be really interesting to see where it falls in the card. Alrighty, we are getting close to the end of this championship run, so this is really cool. We're getting into the thick of it. Vince McMahon just came out and helped me. So now, if you remember the WrestleMania 2000 feud, it was a McMahon in every corner. So Shane McMahon is in Steven Richards' corner, but Steven Richards is taking the role of Big Show because Big Show's not in this game, because he was punished, quote-unquote, during this time. So I think they took him out of the game as another form of punishment. But Vince McMahon is teaming with The Rock, who's being filled in by Roman Reigns. So it's really funny to see Roman Reigns cut all the promos as The Rock. And it's kind of ironic, because the whole relationship between The Rock and Roman Reigns and him coming out for the Royal Rumble, it's like that's kind of who they want Roman Reigns to be, right? They want him to be the second coming of The Rock, but he's not The Rock. The Rock is The Rock. Let Roman Reigns be Roman Reigns. Don't try to make him The Rock. But it's like all these quotes are like directly from The Rock. So it's really funny to see Roman Reigns do it. I just got a kick out of it. I thought it was ironic. I didn't plan for that when I was doing it. I forgot that this whole storyline follows The Rock and the McMahons in every corner storyline, where they bring in Mick Foley, and it was a 4-way dance for the world title. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Okay, Sting Triple H. Speaking of times of yesteryear, we got Sting and Triple H. I loved how Sting on Raw was trying to just bury the whole, this is about WCW versus WWF. And I was glad he did that. I was glad he came out. He was like, I may be the last soldier from WCW, but that war is over, and I'm not fighting that war anymore. It's more about stopping you, Triple H, because I'm the vigilante. He's Batman. He really is. He's Batman. It's become bigger now for Sting. It's not about enacting my revenge for WWF beating WCW in the ratings war. It's more about me, knocking you down a peg or two for putting yourself on top of an empire by lying and cheating and stealing. And if you watch the, I highly recommend watching the Wrestling Isn't Wrestling video that Max Landis did, that's been blowing up recently on YouTube. It does a really good analysis of Triple H's, storyline from the past 20 years and his rise through the ranks of wrestling as this character. But it gives really good insight into, this paranoid, insecure kind of guy. And that's really who Triple H is, right, as a character, right? So it makes sense that you have Sting, who's always been just about put up or shut up and do good or justice, comes in and saying, you know what, if I got one last wrong to right in this world, I'm gonna take care of the guy who probably wouldn't have been able to do everything he's doing now if I was around back then. So I like how Sting was trying to make it about that. Stephanie McMahon came in, she kept trying to make it about WCW, but I'm really excited about this match because I'm really excited to see Sting. And Triple H is a great worker in the ring. He is one of the best in the ring in terms of delivering high quality matches with other great opponents. And his match last year with Daniel Bryan shows that he can go. I'm sure Sting can still go. Sting has always kept himself in really good shape. I think they're gonna have an old school, physical match, heavy on the ring psychology. I think people are going to get really into this match because they're going to be in control of the match the whole time. Sting knows how to work a crowd. Triple H knows how to work a crowd. I think they're going to have everyone eating out the palm of their hands. Hopefully with no major outside interferences or run-ins and this and that. I want to see Sting win. I want to see Sting win the match. I think Sting is going to win the match. I should say, with this one, I should put a little asterisk. I pray that Sting wins the match, because I think it'd be really disappointing if you spend all this time building up Sting coming back, or actually just coming to the WWE. It's such a historic moment. The last holdout for WCW, 14 years he was in Impact Wrestling, he was in other places, and the biggest WCW star never to come to WWE, and a guy that people actually liked and respected. Now he's finally here. He's getting his WrestleMania moment. Let's not go back to mid 2000s Triple H era where he beats everyone that maybe he shouldn't beat. Especially if you want to get one more WrestleMania appearance out of Sting. I think Sting should win this match. I hope Sting wins this match. Regardless, it's going to be a great match, I think. I hope. I don't know. I wouldn't, I'd be really disappointed. I think this would be the one match I'll be disappointed in. If the person who wins it isn't the person I want to win it. Every other match of the card could go either way. Even the Bray Wyatt Undertaker match, if Bray Wyatt wins, fine. I'll be cool with it. But Triple H and Sting, if Triple H wins, I'd be really disappointed. And I'd be surprised, honestly, if Triple H wins. I talked about this. I did a Sting Let's Play, WCW NWO Revenge Let's Play. I talked about this, so I don't want to take up too much time with it. But I do think that they're going to put on a really great match. It's going to be a WrestleMania moment to see Sting. I'm really excited about it. This is my favorite match of the night, it's the match that I'm most looking forward to, only because I was such good fans, big fans, I should say, of both these guys growing up. A lot of memories as a kid watching Sting, pre-Crow gimmick, watching Triple H evolve from that Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick. I laughed at him at WrestleMania 12, when he got squashed by the Ultimate Warrior. I was like, yeah, Triple H, you suck, you stink. And then look where he is now. That's the game right there. Look at him coming out. The game. Who knew? Even 15 years ago, I should say, when No Mercy came out, it was still just the beginning of Triple H being a dominant world champion, and who knew he would get to the point he did, and who knew Sting would be that icon that even 15 years later of not really seeing him in WWE. Yeah, he was in Impact Wrestling. He did a lot there. He was still in the wrestling consciousness, if you will. But his runs before that in WCW were so iconic that his impact on wrestling still lasts today. And I think it's going to be a great match. I think these guys are going to go out there. They're going to give a great match. I'm excited about it because it reminds me of, when like Keiji Muto took on, Tenryu? And everyone thought they were two washed up old dogs. This was like during the time when like Noah walked out, or Misawa and Kobashi, they walked out and formed Noah. And Keiji Muto and Tenryu went back to kind of save the company. They went to All Japan to save the company. And they had this match that was just breathtaking. And people had wrote them both off because they were older. They didn't have it like they used to. Keiji Muto's knees were all banged up. And Triple H and Sting aren't in that position. They're in great shape. We know they can still wrestle. They got a lot of momentum going into them. So it reminds me of that. Like, these are like two, veterans, two legends, living legends in the ring right now. And they're going to go at it. This is a dream matchup, a matchup we never thought will happen. Just don't let Triple H win. And it'll be perfect. But, it's going to be cool. I want to hear about the people who want to see Triple H win, and I want to know the reasons why. I feel like every fan of wrestling, this is Sting's moment, and we all realize that. You know what I mean? Like, this is Sting's moment, and I don't think anyone really wants to see Sting lose. It's also going to be interesting to see how they work in the sledgehammer and the bat, because as far as I'm aware, it's just a regular singles match. It's not no DQ. And they've been hyping up the sledgehammer and the bat this whole time. It's like the battle between the sledgehammer and the bat, which is really funny if you think about it, because it's like it's not the battle of who's gonna hit the other guy with his finisher. You know what I mean? It's not the battle of if Sting's gonna slap on the Scorpion Deathlock or give him the Scorpion Death Drop, or if Triple H is gonna hit him with the pedigree. It's like, no, who's gonna take the illegal object and hit the other guy with it first? Who's gonna cheat to win first, in a way, which is really interesting how they've been building up the match that way. So my friend said that he thinks that the pay-per-view is gonna start and Stephanie McMahon's gonna come out and she's gonna make it a no DQ match, which would be interesting. But I think there's going to be enough no DQ situations going on for the rest of the night that, I don't know, I think it will cheapen it. And also add some excitement because you just know the referee's going to get knocked out. So it's going to be like, all right, who's going to be the first to pull out their weapon? The referee's out. Is it going to be Sting? Is it going to be Triple H? It's going to be really cool to see. What I'm kind of looking forward to if that happens and maybe Steph or someone goes to throw Triple H the sledgehammer and Sting actually ends up using the sledgehammer on Triple H. So all along we thought that, Sting might use the bat to win or Triple H might use his sledgehammer to win. But really, Sting uses Triple H's sledgehammer and gives him like this kind of poetic justice, Again, it's all about the storytelling in the ring, that I really look forward to. So I really hope they execute that well. I think they will. I thought the Daniel Bryan Triple H match was executed, so beautifully. Such a great story that was told in that match. And, I think, Triple H has always been good at that. Despite the moments where he beats guys that he shouldn't beat in certain situations, you look at a lot of his other defining moments in the ring, whether he won or lost, he knows how to tell a great story with another great wrestler. So I think, I'm excited about that match. But I guess that brings us to the main event, the final match, the big match, the one everyone is talking about, Brock Lesnar against Roman Reigns. And I wonder if Roman Reigns is gonna give big clotheslines to hell like he just did with Mick Foley and Triple H. To Brock Lesnar. I'm looking forward to this match. I know a lot of people are hating on Roman Reigns. And I just think that It's not his fault that WWE wants him to be the top guy. It's not his fault. You can't blame him. The dude looks like the next top guy. Honestly, before Daniel Bryan got hurt, everyone kind of thought, just looking at the Shield, and the Shield was coming up, everyone was like, oh, Roman Reigns is going to be the next top guy. It all changed when Daniel Bryan got injured and the world title situation was left up in the air and Brock Lesnar came into it. Now people, a lot of people are upset at the idea of Roman Reigns possibly winning against Brock Lesnar. Now, before I was going to record this podcast, I was going to talk about that, about the idea of Roman Reigns winning, because, the whole if Brock Lesnar stays or if he leaves. But now we know for a fact Brock Lesnar is staying. So that changes up things. So now I gotta think about this. Now I know for a fact he's leaving. So who do I want to see win? Well, that always stayed the same. I always wanted to see Brock Lesnar win. Going into this match, as soon as Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble, I was like, man, I hope Brock Lesnar wins at WrestleMania. How cool would that be, regardless if he stayed or didn't stay? How cool would that be if Brock Lesnar beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the World Championship? That'd be pretty sweet, and I would be pretty happy about that. Now, who do I think will win? Now, if you told me to answer that question, an hour before I started recording this episode, I would have said I think Roman Reigns is going to win it. But now that Brock Lesnar is staying, I have to change my answer, and I think Brock Lesnar is going to win it. There's no reason why they would make that announcement if they didn't want to make sure people were watching WrestleMania. I think after watching Raw, it had a very cold reaction to Raw. A lot of people were just like, I'm not watching WrestleMania. And for the past few months, people have been very vocal on Twitter and creating hashtags, and it's getting the attention of WWE. Vince McMahon, whoever else is in charge, are looking at it, and at first they're playing it cool, but you don't mess with WrestleMania. And it's been a whole year since the WWE Network. I mean, the WWE Network launching and me being able to watch WrestleMania 30 had, got me back into wrestling for a very long time. I was always in and out of wrestling, but I've been consistently keeping up with not only the WWE, but Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling, and now Lucha Underground and New Japan and Noah and all these things, like I hadn't been doing in years, and that's actually thanks to the WWE Network. Having that access to all the pay-per-views, to all the past pay-per-views, has reopened my interest and love for wrestling, and I think that this is the future of the business, and they want to make a lot of money with it. They need to make a lot of money with it, especially because they're, severing their relationship with pay-per-views, and, they can only get so much money from their live TV, but even live TV is struggling. They're not getting the numbers like they used to, this and that. And, this might sound like boring stuff, like the business stuff, but I think this makes a lot of impact on their decisions as to how they handle these big name pay-per-views. And I think the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar situation, with the cold reaction to Roman Reigns, being because he's most likely going to win it because Brock Lesnar's not going to stay, and showing the Raw, I think they would have liked to keep it secret that Brock Lesnar was staying, because now that he's staying, they could keep the belt on him, and if they would have kept it secret, it would have been a really cool surprise. But what's the point of having a surprise if no one's there to witness it? I think that was the big thing about the WWE Network last year, was that, the big surprise was that Taker lost. So then everyone jumped and started, buying the WWE Network so they could watch that. This year, a lot of people were saying, I'm not going to watch the network. I'm not going to watch WrestleMania because I don't want to see Roman Reigns win. now that Brock Lesnar is staying, I think it's 99%, I'm 99% sure that Brock Lesnar is going to win. But there's always that 1%. There's always that 1%. That doesn't mean he's going to win. That just means he's staying with the WWE. So whatever that means, whatever his contract is, however many appearances he's going to be throughout the year, whatever storyline they've agreed on to work out following WrestleMania, Roman Reigns could very well still leave as the champion. But I don't think it's going to go down that way. I think Brock Lesnar is going to beat him 1, 2, 3, and I think one or two things is going to happen. He's going to walk out champion, smiling, Roman Reigns on the floor, all beat up, and it's like, wow, Roman Reigns couldn't do it. So who's next? Who can possibly, John Cena couldn't do it, Taker couldn't do it, Roman Reigns couldn't do it. Who's next, right? Or number 2, Seth Rollins tries to cash in the Money in the Bank, and I think that has different ways it could go. So here we go. Triple H is coming in. I'm gonna do a Iron Man match. Iron Man matches are so easy in this game. You're gonna see I rack up quite a few victories over Triple H, but this, at least the Iron Man match is a good indicator of how much time I have left. But I want to throw out a few little ideas and predictions. I want Brock Lesnar to win because there's still so much potential in having him as the champion. People are calling him a heel champion right now. I don't think he's a heel champion. I think he's just a champion. I think he's not heel. He's not babyface. You either like him or you don't, but you like him or you don't because of your own personal bias. He hasn't done anything in the ring to be a heel. When he beat Taker, clean in the middle of the ring. It took him 3 F5s, and that's it. He didn't cheat. He didn't, steal a victory from The Undertaker. He didn't use any dirty tactics. He beat him fair and square. When he walked into SummerSlam and he faced John Cena, he beat John Cena 1, 2, 3. Easy. He just suplexed the crap out of him. At the rematch, same thing. Now, the rematch actually was a DQ, right? Yeah, the rematch, he actually healed out of that one. And then Seth Rollins messed it up. I think it was because Seth Rollins. And then the triple threat, again, it was him just being a badass. He wasn't being a heel too much. He was just being this unstoppable. It was like they were fighting the Hulk. You know what I mean? Like the way they made that match go down, it was like this is like the X-Men, the Avengers trying to take down the Hulk. You know what I mean? So I think this match is just going to be another reflection of that. He's not going to have to cheat to beat Roman Reigns. He's just going to beat the crap out of the Roman Reigns. It's so much more different than the Brock Lesnar when he came back to the company. When he came back to the company, he was more of a heel, doing dirty tactics, kicking guys when they were down, cheating to win. But that Undertaker match was different, man. That Undertaker match set the tone for his run as WWE champion. And I want to see more of that. I want to see him have physical matches with guys like Roman Reigns. I want to see him eventually take on Daniel Bryan and they go at it and have a physical match. I mean, there's so many guys that can challenge for the title. I think a Rollins-Brock Lesnar match will be exciting. I think a Brock Lesnar-Randy Orton match will be exciting because let's face it, if Brock Lesnar would have stayed, those are the guys he would have faced. He would have faced Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton. So there's so much potential with that. And again, the problem with all the WWE titles as of the past decade, probably even longer, is that there's no validity to them anymore. To have a champion who holds onto it much longer than a year or 2 or even 3, how about that? A 3-year champion, I think would make such an impact and give so much more weight to that title so that when someone finally does take it off him, the expectations are high, but at least that person who's getting the belt, we know, is ready to meet those expectations. I think that's what was unfortunate about CM Punk's run as the WWE champion when he had that stretch where he held it over a year and he beat John Cena's record. He lost it to The Rock. And we all knew by losing it to The Rock, that just meant it was going back on Cena. So CM Punk had spent the whole year establishing himself as a fighting champion, and then so we think some legitimacy is being brought back to the world title, and then it just keeps going back to being used as a storyline prop. And that's unfortunate. The world title shouldn't be done that way. So that's why I want to see Brock Lesnar win. It's not about hating on Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns is great. I love Roman Reigns. I liked him when he was part of the Shield. I like his legacy. I like his look. I think he has a lot of potential. I think a lot of people are hating on him because he's not Daniel Bryan. And I agree with that sentiment. I do think that WWE should have pushed Daniel Bryan if they were going to bring him back. Hey, look, if you were going to bring back Daniel Bryan and you didn't want him to be in the WWE title picture, then they should have just waited until after the Royal Rumble to bring him back. They waited until after the Royal Rumble to bring Randy Orton back. They still are waiting for Sheamus. Sheamus will probably show up in some form tomorrow on Sunday night. I don't know where. Honestly, I don't really care. It's Sheamus. But they waited for those guys. They didn't bring those guys back at the Royal Rumble. So why bring Daniel Bryan? Out of those three of those guys, who did people want to see win the Royal Rumble if they came back? I think mostly everyone would say Daniel Bryan, because he never lost the title. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to bring Daniel Bryan back and say, no, but we don't want him to steal Roman Reigns' thunder, what they should have done is just kept him out of it. Because honestly, Daniel Bryan hasn't done anything since he came back. He's just made a bunch of fans angry and upset because we see him, but we don't see him going after the world title. He's going after the IC title. What about last year, man? You was fighting the Authority and you had your big WrestleMania moment, and now you don't care about that anymore. Like, come on, like don't try to disguise it as this is like Daniel Bryan's character's motivations. Like, we all know what's going on. So if that was gonna be the case, they should have kept Daniel Bryan out of it and waited to debut him after WrestleMania. He probably would have been better off for it physically too, because he's going out there and wrestling like he never hurt his neck, and it's scaring the crap out of me. But I think that's why Roman Reigns is getting a lot of that hate. He's not a bad performer in the ring. Yeah, his mic skills isn't great, but go back and watch Daniel Bryan circa 2004 or whatever, when he was wrestling in the indie scenes. He wasn't a great on the mic either. Not everyone can be The Rock. Even The Rock wasn't, perfect on the mic when he came out. It takes everyone time to grow as a wrestler. And I actually think that Roman Reigns' injury set him back quite a bit in the eyes of fans, because if he would have kept the momentum going before he got injured, and instead of getting injured, we saw him on pay-per-view fighting and beating up guys, I think a lot of people would believe it more. But because we didn't get that, I think a lot of people don't see him as being, someone who can beat Brock Lesnar, the guy who ended the Undertaker streak, the guy who suplexed John Cena out of the main event, the Beast, the Conqueror, whatever nickname you want to give him. Roman Reigns doesn't have that resume to show, yeah, he's the guy. You know what I mean? So I think that's where a lot of the backlash comes from. But I'm not part of that group. I'm not hating on Roman Reigns. I don't want to see him lose because I hate him or anything like that. I want to see him lose because I want to see Brock Lesnar win. Like at the end of the day, that's really what it is. And I think it'll give some prestige to that world title. But here's my idea, right? If you're gonna make Brock Lesnar lose, this is one idea I had. So Brock Lesnar beats Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins comes in, tries to cash the Money in the Bank, which no one has ever done at WrestleMania, by the way, which I think would be really significant if Rollins did it. But Brock Lesnar comes in, he beats Roman Reigns. They have a great match. I think they're going to have a great match because, again, Roman Reigns is good. Seth Rollins comes out, tries to cash in the Money in the Bank, and it doesn't look like it's going too hot for Seth Rollins. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, while Seth Rollins is, trying to beat Brock Lesnar catches him for the F5, and maybe Roman Reigns spears him and saves Seth Rollins. And they look each other, they give each other a look, and they both start attacking Brock Lesnar. And it's like, wait a minute, what is this? Is like the Shield getting back together? And then for no reason at all, I think, Brock Lesnar should mount a comeback. He's beating them both up. And then maybe once again, when it looks like he's about to put away Seth Rollins, maybe Roman Reigns is lined out on the floor, Ambrose comes in. So you have like a Shield reunion to take down Brock Lesnar. Now, this idea, in my mind, was really fun and exciting if they had built up the angle that Brock Lesnar was leaving. But they haven't done that. WWE was very scared, or not scared, but they just really didn't talk about Brock Lesnar too much leaving the WWE, with the exception of that Paul Heyman promo. But I think if they would have built that up, or let's say I would have built that up, and then I would have had this whole angle like we can't let Brock Lesnar leave with the title, reuniting the Shield to have the Shield try to take down Brock Lesnar, I think that would be really cool. Or they could do that afterwards. I think Seth Rollins should try to cash in the Money in the Bank. I think what would make that main event special is I think Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar can put on a great match. But I don't know if the fans will appreciate it in the moment. A lot of people definitely don't seem to appreciate the match he had with Daniel Bryan, and I thought that Daniel Bryan match was fantastic that they had together. But again, everyone's in the let's hate Roman Reigns train. I don't think they notice it. So to compensate for that, I think they should have Rollins try to cash it in. And let's say Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar went 20-25 minutes. Have Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar go, 35-40 minutes. I think that would help put it over as a memorable WrestleMania main event. Help put both guys over, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. But I think Brock Lesnar defeating both men will help establish him as this dominant champion. Maybe the Shield can try to get back together to take him down, and that could be an angle running into SummerSlam. But, that's stuff I want to talk about for my next episode. So that's basically what I think about WrestleMania 31. Let me know what you guys think. I'm excited about this pay-per-view. Let's get hyped. I think it's going to be a good pay-per-view. Gonna watch it on the network 1 year later from when I first watched the WWE Network. I saw WrestleMania 30 live on the network, so I'm really excited about that. It's coming full circle. I can't believe it's been a year. But I'm excited. So let me know what you think. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave comments. Leave tons of comments. Tell me what you think. Subscribe to my channel so you know when my videos are coming out. I'll try to do another video to upload tomorrow. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Watch the network. Bye-bye.